Hi and welcome. My name is Cheryl McWilliams and I'm so glad that you've chosen to join us today. We're going to be speaking about something really important. We live in a society where people are really nervous right now, whether it's COVID-19 or the flu. It seems every time we turn on the television there's something to alarm or frighten us. As we go to the grocery stores and those shelves seem to be empty of things that we normally are accustomed to using, we're coming to a time in our society where it will be helpful to learn some techniques and some information of things that maybe we already have in our home that we can use to be helpful. Our conversation today is about hydrotherapy. Hydro meaning water and therapy, so hydrotherapy being the use of water in its various forms and temperatures. I have a couple of friends here, Jai Hewlett and Martin Raj, who are really in the forefront of working with this type of therapy. And they're going to show us some techniques today that I think are going to be really helpful to you. Things that you can use when you experience illness and sickness, not just COVID-19, not just the flu, but the common cold and other things that you or members of your family or members of your community may face. Things that can be helpful, practical things, using tools that you already have right at home that you can use to be a blessing for yourself and others. I want to thank you for being with us, gentlemen, and I'm excited to learn what you have to share with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello everyone, as Cheryl said, my name is Martin Raj and here I have my assistant, Jai. Today I will be demonstrating hot foot bath. When you say or when you talk to people who know about hydrotherapy, every time you come across the term, people always talk about hot foot bath. So today we will see what hot foot bath is and why it is good. Alright, so we have a wool blanket, we have a flat sheet, we have a towel, face towel, and we also have a floor towel. We have a small glass for water, we have a kettle, thermometer to check water, and we have some ice cold water for cold compress. And then we have a patient here. We have a small bucket for the hot foot bath. First thing that I would do is I would usually ask what type of conditions, if he has any. Like if he has diabetes, I'll be very careful. If there is any other severe illness in his feet, I'll be very careful of that. So first things first, find out if they are comfortable and if they are willing to do it. And most importantly, try to check with your physician if they are okay with you getting this treatment. Alright, so since we are doing a dry run, this water, you have imagined this bucket has hot water in it. There are different ways we do. Either you can use the thermometers, whether this one or this one, you have to make sure that the water temperature is around 105 degrees Fahrenheit. The other thing is, if the person has diabetes, you don't go more than 102 degrees because it might burn their skin and you don't want that to happen. Also, the other way is, since we are all quarantined and you cannot go out, even if you go out and if you're not able to find thermometer, you can always use your elbow. The reason why you're using your elbow and not your fingertips is because your fingertips are used to more high temperature and more cold temperature than your elbow. So when you are doing the hot foot bath and if you're not having the thermometer, please use your elbow and check how hot it is. The next one is you have to be careful as to putting the person's feet into the water because since they will not have any balance, you are the one who is going to put the feet into the water. Alright, so you have to make sure that you put the feet into the water and ask them if they are okay with the heat. If it is too hot, it will be easy for you to bring it out. If it is okay with them, you can place it on the floor. And well, there are two ways to do it again. You can use water in a small basin where just the ankle is covered, or you can use a bigger one where it can come up to the knee. The higher the water level is, the more efficient it will be because you're covering more skin, and thus the patient will be able to sweat more. Once the feet is in the water, next you wrap the person with a wool blanket. While wrapping it, make sure that the bucket also is covered. And then you wrap the blanket with a white flat sheet or flat sheet. This way the person will be able to maintain the heat inside the body, and which will actually in turn make them sweat. And this is called a cold compress. You usually dip it in ice cold water and then wring it well. It shouldn't be dripping, and then you apply it on their forehead. Some people do cover the whole head. It's up to you. And then for every few minutes, make sure that you check the water temperature, either with this instrument or your elbow. And again, every few minutes, you need to keep the person hydrated. The reason you keep the person hydrated is because as they sweat, their body needs more fluid. So you make them drink water. And this is for the hot water, as I said. When you check the temperature, and if the temperature goes down, if it is 105 and it goes down to 100, you can pour the hot water in it. And the way you pour the hot water in it has to be very careful. So, you open up the small space, and then you're going to pour the hot water. While you pour it, make sure that your hand is there in between the pouring water and the person's skin, so that the direct hot water will not touch the person's skin. And then as you add the water, you just keep stirring it inside so it is all mixed well and it's not too hard for the person to bear. And then once you pour the hot water, you check the temperature. After you check the temperature, you close it again.
Hey, thank you so much. Just a couple things I wanted to add here, are reminders in terms of safety precautions. Number one, you have to be really careful with the temperature of the water. As Martin already mentioned, you want it about 105 degrees. Not everyone has a thermometer, so if you don't, simply use your elbow, stick that down in the water, and if it feels too hot for your elbow, then it is too hot. If you have diabetes, or the person that you're working with has diabetes, then you really need to be mindful of the temperature of that water. And we like that to not be over 102 degrees. Check it with your elbow. You can also check it with the inside of your wrist, just like you do a baby bottle. So that's that. Now, Martin also mentioned the concept of warming up the water that the feet are in. And we want to show you that sort of in a close-up detail because it's really easy to burn someone here. As Jai has his feet in this bucket of water and Martin is prepared to pour in essentially hot boiling water, we want to be careful that we're not burning ourselves or burning the person that we're working with. So you'll notice that as Martin pours the water in here, he is keeping his hand between the pouring water and Jai's feet. Now he's not pouring the hot boiling water directly on his hand. He doesn't want to burn himself either. So he's pouring it closer to the edge of the bucket. Once he's done pouring, then he mixes it in and samples that temperature once again. And another thing to be mindful of, Jai has been sitting in this wonderfully warm cocoon. His feet are toasty, he's sweating. In fact, some people sweat profusely, and that's why another important point is to make sure that they're drinking plenty of water, or that you're drinking plenty of water if you're doing this on yourself. As you get up, or as you're working with someone, you want to be careful when you get up. Get up very slowly. If there's two of you and there's someone who can help you, or if you're doing this with another person, help them to stand. And then when you go to take a shower, and it's very important that you take a shower because your skin is the biggest organ that you have. Things go out of it, things go in it. As Jai has sat here and has sweat a lot, he's excreted a lot of toxins, and if he doesn't go shower and wash that off, it will simply get reabsorbed. Things get absorbed through your skin within 30 to 60 seconds. We don't want to absorb any toxins that he's excreted. So Martin would then help Jai stand, would help him to the shower, and then when he gets to the shower, Jai's going to be careful not to make that water too cool because he doesn't want to pass out.
And then again, you'll come back, you'll check if the cold compress is still cold or if it has turned warm. You again take it into the ice water, dip it in, wring it well, bring it back to the person's forehead. And if the person is sweating on the face, it's okay to wipe the face with the same cloth so that they'll feel comfortable. This procedure should go up to 20 to 30 minutes. In certain cases, if you just want to keep the person warm, you can do it for 15 minutes. But if you really need to see a positive result, to expel all the toxins in the body, it has to go up to 20 to 30 minutes. And then after 20 to 30 minutes, you remove it one by one. So right now, you're again going to help assist the person with removing their feet. But this time, you're not just going to remove it directly, you're going to add the cold water to their feet. So the water in this bucket, you're going to dump it. And then once you dump it, you place their feet on the towel. And then make sure you wipe it dry very good so that it is not moist. If it is moist, then the person can get infection easily. So you have to make sure of that. And then after that, they can put on their shoes or sandals. Even after this 30 minutes of treatment, we definitely suggest that the person takes a nice shower so that all the toxins that is being released will be expelled as well, and it will not go back into the skin. And then they can take a 30-minute rest